Hey everyone, and welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts social media news podcast. I'm your host, Pauline.
And I'm Tasia.
And I wanted to start off...
Wait, Pauline.
What?
Ravina's not here.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't forget. Ravina, we miss you.
Yes.
We really do miss Ravina. But she will be back, so don't worry. Our trusty third party will be back. We're like the three amigos.
Yes.
Amigas, I guess.
She will be here.
She'll be back and to give us her
Tune in
2
next
cents.
week, I'm sure.
Yeah, our next episode. Oh, this is episode 30, so 31. She'll be back next week.
Ooh, we in them dirty 30s.
So, I wanted to start this episode discussing Lloyd. Now,
and this has honestly been something that has been like a social media craze over like the few years. Like,
yes, and it's
reoccurring
been like
over and over
yeah,
again.
it's come up again. And you know, I love like when I was growing up, like when I would buy CDs and stuff, I used to love it when artists would have the lyrics to their songs like in the CDs, like inside, like when you could pull out the cover and like flip through the pages.
Speaking of that, when the new iOS 10 software got downloaded onto Apple phones, do you know that Apple Music now gives you the option to see the lyrics played, like see the lyrics
on Apple Music? Oh, I have that. I love that.
Yeah, for certain songs that you have on your phone now, you can click on like those 3 dots that show, you know, the other options.
Oh, yeah.
And you're able to literally view all the lyrics to the song now.
Oh, nice. So you can get that karaoke on.
Exactly. So that's really cool.
Yeah, if you didn't know, if you're like me and you're in the dark, now we know, and I'm actually very excited to learn that because I do love it. I love knowing the words to songs, and it cracks me up.
You have to know the words to the song. Yeah, I will be the first person to tell you that is not the words.
Right? Well,
that's not what he said.
Growing up, I was just telling Tasia on one of our breaks that about my best friend Lauren, and growing up when we were in elementary school, Lauren and I would try to learn the words to every single song. Like we would try to like learn it as soon as it would come out, you know?
Yes.
And we would go online and look up the lyrics online as well. And it was so funny because now, and if you ask Lauren, I'm sure she will definitely make fun of me and say that I never knew the words to any songs. Like I would always like listen to a song. I'm like, oh yeah, like I know this, like I know the words, and then like I would try to sing along, and she's like, "You're killing the song," like, you know, because I would never.
I would have been with Lauren, like, don't say it wrong.
And I still and I don't know why.
You were not the artist, Pauline.
I was gonna say I really don't even know why I'm laughing right now because she's probably will say, Pauline, like you still
don't
do this, and like I try, but then like so we would always
go.
The
next thing you know, she says something different.
Yeah, and now I always say it's just like the remix, you know, like I'm just, you know, freestyling and things like that. But anyway, so like I said, so I love and like a lot of people do it, that's why they have the various websites where you can look up the lyrics to certain songs. So like they even have some I think it's called like Rap Genius or Lyric Genius, but there's a website also where you can actually click on different segments of the songs, different stanzas and things like that, and you can read what that section means. So like if you're listening to like, for instance, like a rap song and you don't quite understand like the slang that's being used, you could click over the highlighted portions and it'll explain it to you, and it'll give you some like history and background on it. And I always thought that website was kind of cool because I probably shouldn't have been knowing about some of these things when I was young listening to this kind of music, but Lauren and I would be like, what does that even mean? Like, what is that? Like, and we would just go on there and look it up, and it would kind of explain it to you. And especially some songs that don't really make sense when you're like, why is he saying
why
that?
Would he say that?
Yeah, you know, so, but whatever. So there are different websites that you can go on that will give you the lyrics. Now, in regards to Lloyd, so he has a really, I wouldn't say it's his most famous song, but I think maybe
it's one of his most like
songs that he's known
other
for.
Than like Southside with Ashanti. Oh, like they both came out the same time. So there was You and featuring Lil Wayne, and then there was Southside,
his Blue Ashanti. So this song came out, and honestly, I used to love Lloyd. I love Lloyd.
He cut his hair recently, didn't he?
No, did he?
I don't know. I
don't know if he's cut his hair, but he had like the longest hang time. Like, you know, I don't even know if my hair can even. I don't even know if it's that lengthy.
I just feel like he went with the Trey Songz thing. They cut their hair.
I wonder. No, I think he still has it. Anyways, well, whatever you're looking like, Lloyd, it's all good. We still love you. Well, I still love you. But so Twitter has taken a poll, and it's been brought up on Twitter. And I love when Twitter does this, like when people start discussing a topic and it seems like everybody's discussing it on Twitter. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, and the fact that it keeps coming up. Like yes, this topic continues to come up.
I think one reason, I was just discussing this with one of my friends, that one of the reasons why certain topics that we discussed when we were like younger, like in elementary school, come up again on Twitter is because now our reach is so much larger. So now it's like, let me ask people on the other side of the United States, what did you think? Like, you know, because we all kind of know the same pop culture, grew up with the same artists, songs.
Because it's now not just taken to Twitter, it's taken that post on Twitter is now snapshotted to be on Instagram.
Yeah, and like it could just get so much larger reach. Sees it, yeah. So you can get responses, and it's so funny because it's like, I thought that same thing too, or like, no, I hated this, or you know, whatever. Whether it's an episode, and people will be like, hey, remember when this? Like, did you guys see this one? And whatever. So anyway, so
the problem is now with the poll
with Lloyd is in his song "You" featuring Lil Wayne. It's always been a question on whether or not he says she's fine to, or she's 5'2".
Like, is she fine also?
Or
like,
is she just
pretty also? Or
5'2"?
Yes, is she?
Which honestly, I think Lloyd is about 5'2", so I don't think that he would be. The only reason why he would ever be asking if a girl is 5'2" is because he's trying to make sure she's not taller than him. I think Lloyd is short. I'm not quite sure, but
I agree with you. I'm just thinking about what the song and how he says it, you know, she's fine too, but I want you. So
yeah, like, so because like exactly.
Why would he care about how tall she was?
Exactly.
Like, oh yeah, she's 5'2".
She's fine. I personally think
5 foot
that
2 inches.
He says she's fine too.
Oh,
but I
agree with you.
That girl, she cute.
That's exactly
you
what
who I'm worried about. Yeah, you know, and it just goes with the flow. The rest of the song,
it has to go with the flow. The fact that this is still a poll, and
I think it's
don't
so
even
funny.
know.
But you know what's actually also what happened is that he kind of, in a way, and I say kind of as loosely as I possibly can, responded to this because like it's been brought up and like kind of big these last few weeks on social media, especially on Twitter. It was like trending and everything. He responded with a short video clip. I think it's like a minute long, if that long. And he was like, you know, I know it's been discussed recently what I say, whether is she fine to or if she's 5'2". And his response, because like, and everybody, and like, and he kind of like chuckles as he's speaking. So like, you know, like the suspense, like, oh, he's going to tell us, right? He just tells us it's whatever we need it to be. Like whatever we just like, and that's what music is. Like you can interpret it how you need it to be. And I'm like, Lloyd, that is not answering my question.
He did a good job by doing that because I mean his answer regards to like that's what music is supposed to be, like your own personal interpretation. Yes, that is, but
that's not what we're asking.
I'm asking you to interpret my thoughts. I'm asking you to tell me what you said.
My conspiracy theory. This is my theory. He says both. And then that's why people hear different parts. Because depending on what part of the song that you listen to, I don't know. This is just my theory. Because like, you know, with the blue and white dress, like the blue and yellow dress, whatever, when people are like, I see a blue dress, I see a white dress, and people are like, no, I see this.
Saw a white dress.
I honestly think it's because people then just started posting like a blue dress, and I know it had to do with being colorblind, and that's like something different. But then it just depended on what picture that you saw. Like it literally was just a blue dress because I was looking at some side by side pictures, and like you know how you can like use filters to change it.
This picture,
so it's like it was definitely altered.
Yeah.
So perhaps that's why he doesn't tell us yes or no, because he knows that perhaps, I'm just saying, this is just my crazy theory, that when he was recording the song, he messed up. And maybe it's like one of those jokes, like, let's see if they ever find out this, you know, because you know how like people, we make things bigger than it has to be. And maybe it was a joke on us. Maybe he did say both. Maybe at one point in the song he says that she's 5'2", and then right after that.
I think he gave that answer because he wants to still be relevant. He wants us to still talk about that. He
right. Because we are still discussing it.
He doesn't want anybody to know for sure. Because
once we get a final answer, it's
then
over. We're moving on.
We're moving on. Because nobody cares anymore. He needs people to still care. So he was like, y'all need to, whatever your mind takes you,
whatever you want it to be. So then we listen to it harder, like it's raining to hear.
Exactly. His song is being like streamed, and his Vivo plays and YouTube plays are getting played even more now because.
So
we're gonna go rewatch that clip he posted of the song.
If you have a theory, or if you for sure know, I guess we will actually honestly never know. I guess only he honestly will know.
And he's not telling us.
No, he's not going to tell us. So if you have a theory, we would love to hear it. You could find us on Facebook or on Twitter at GSMC_S media. So SMedia for social media. Let us know, because I'm actually kind of interested in what you think, because like I said, it may just be a conspiracy where we are hearing both. And that's why some people hear both, or like just hear one thing. I don't know. It's just funny to me that you can be listening to the same song and hear different things.
But I'm pretty sure the lyrics say 5-2. Don't say 5-2. I'm sorry.
Say fine too.
Yeah.
But who wrote those lyrics? And which ones?
They can be edited and changed.
Yes, that's the
unless
thing.
They come from the CD, like you said.
Exactly. You know? And maybe it's a joke. Maybe he's a funny guy. Maybe he's really funny.
I think he just doesn't want us to know.
Yeah.
He doesn't want us to know.
Yeah, I don't think he wants us to. So
we got to talk
we're gonna cut it to a break real quickly, and when we come back, we want to discuss some news with Twitter, and it might be getting bought out. So we'll see. And also something that another pharmaceutical executive has posted and auctioned on Twitter. So you are listening to the Golden State Media Concepts social media news podcast. We will be right back.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now, don't bother, what's hot on Netflix, and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts social media news podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Pauline.
And I'm Tasia.
And I wanted to discuss Twitter. Right before the break, I had mentioned that we had some news in regards to Twitter itself, as well as a Twitter user. Now, Martin Shkreli is a pharmaceutical executive and entrepreneur, and he is most well known because he was getting some backlash recently when his company, this actually was happening last year, and his company, Turing Pharmaceuticals, raised the price of its anti-malaria drug, Daraprim, by more than 5,000%. So, of course, people were not happy with that. And it's really sad, I believe, well, at least to me, it's really sad because medicine already is so expensive. And for some, they don't even have access to medications that they may need, especially when you're suffering from a disease such as malaria.
Right.
And to have a drug that could change your life for the better, but then it to be so expensive, it's just really, really sad, especially when they upped it by so much so quickly.
Well, that's just a thing for people to make their monies in these pharmaceutical businesses, honestly speaking.
Yes.
Because we've heard those rumors in life that there's been cures for AIDS and cancer, but
only the rich will be able to obtain it.
Exactly, because it costs too much.
Yeah, and that's where they make a lot of their money is through the treatments of
exactly.
These
so
diseases
they don't want to heal them.
Right. And so it's kind of interesting right now, for lack of a better word to describe this situation, but Mr. Martin Shkreli has actually taken to Twitter because of his friend. Now, he is trying to raise money for his friend Mike, who just recently passed away and has left
And it was his former PR consultant.
Oh, okay. So a very dear friend and,
person a part of his work team.
His team, excuse me. His young son. So he leaves behind. Okay, so Martin's friend Mike passed away due to cancer, and he has a young son who is still here that needs help and to be taken care of, right? Well, that in itself is very sad. But then moving on to what he posted on Twitter is that he posted, and I quote, I will auction one slap or punch in the face to benefit my friend Mike, who passed away and leaves behind a young son who survived cancer. DM bids. And then he goes on to tweet right after that. He says, so far, the two highest bidders to punch or slap me in the face are for $78,000 and $25,500. Let me know. And so he is literally auctioning because he understands that people do not like him. And I think that's why he's offering to actually slap or punch him in the face, because he's playing off of the whole hate factor.
Yes.
Because he knows that he has received so much backlash and that he doesn't have a good public persona because of what his company has decided to do as far as the anti-malaria drug.
Yeah. And since Mike was involved was his PR consultant, they always had the talks involved with stunts and being out there in the media. So that was one of the things that showed Martin's personality, in a sense, that he wanted Mike to have something to necessarily look down and laugh at him for. Because even though it wasn't a good stunt in regards to maybe what Mike would have had him do in the PR world, but it was something that Mike knew was who Martin is and would make him smile.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So, I guess, he's auctioning to do this. And now...
And he said that he will also match the bid to a certain amount, unless people are doing too much. But he did say he would match the price.
Well, I mean,
donation.
He does have the money. So if you want to partake in this auction, for the chance to do this, then he posted it himself. So it's not like it's fake or anything. It's not like a company offering this chance.
It's his real Twitter
he posted it on
page,
his personal account.
Multiple rants of this conversation.
And so if you're interested in doing that, that's something. I mean, I guess in a way he's using Twitter for good in a weird fashion. I mean, indirectly to raise money for this young child. So I mean, that's totally fine.
And he actually did get bids. Bids for this.
So.
The highest was $78,000.
Right.
And another, I guess, I don't know if it was the second highest, but they say the highest bids were $78,000 and then $25,500.
Right. And so,
but I mean, very far off from numbers,
I mean, I don't know how much I would actually pay for this. But I don't have a lot of money regardless.
I'm not paying nobody. I'm not going to pay you for me to slap you.
True.
Excuse me, you get slapped because you do something inappropriate, not because I want to pay you for it.
Right. And so that is what he is doing. I mean, it's a different take on like a GoFundMe account, I guess. It's a different take.
Yeah, it's for a good cause, definitely.
I don't know how he's planning on collecting this money. I guess perhaps PayPal. I don't know. Or donating it in form of a check, and then he is going to fly to your house. I don't know how you
direct deposit.
That's what
MoneyGram.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I don't know how this is going to pan out. So we will keep a lookout on that and let you guys know what we find out later if it becomes anything substantial
and real. Yeah.
So, and then moving on to Twitter itself. Now, Twitter is used by people everywhere. Businesses use it to market. People use it to market their own brands and themselves, interact with others, as well as just keep up on trending topics. We also talk about on social media news how it is a way that some people even get their daily news and political news is through social media, specifically Twitter. You can read articles on Twitter because news stations as well as magazines and newspapers all have Twitter accounts, and it's almost like if your company doesn't have a Twitter account, it's kind of odd.
If your company doesn't have a Twitter or Facebook in some means,
you're
not socially
before
known
it was
as a
just
company.
like you needed at least an email and things like that. And now, at least for us, the millennial generation, we look at
social marketing is very big in today's day.
It's very, very big. And we like to see companies have, like, even Instagram sometimes, and Snapchat. Like, there's companies that even have Snapchat and things like that, and organizations that use Snapchat to publicize their platforms and things like that. So Twitter is used universally throughout the world, and for the private sector, as well as for publicity and things like that. Now, Twitter so social media platforms and different businesses are always buying out one another and making changes, and Twitter is no different. Now, Twitter, there's always been talks of Twitter being bought by a larger entity.
Yeah, and literally since Twitter first came out in around 2008, 2009, it's been talked about being bought out by a bigger company.
Yeah, and see, now when you get bought out by a different company, which is totally fine, and I'm sure that they're going to leave Twitter as far as like the logo, the color, and the format relatively the same. I don't know why you would change something that is broken, but that isn't broken. Yes, but sometimes when different, whether it's a different social media platform or just company in general decides to buy a company, they do make changes. And one example of that is when Facebook bought Instagram, and that was I believe back in 2012. Now, Facebook, before, when you had like your Instagram linked to, because this is some of the changes that they make, because then once you buy something, of course it's yours, so you can make changes and develop it in a way that's going to be more compatible. Especially like if you are Facebook, you want Instagram to be more compatible with your service that you're providing, and you want to take away from your competitor. And so one competitor to Facebook is Twitter. And back when Facebook bought Instagram and acquired Instagram, one change that they made that a lot of people I remember were like, ugh, how annoying, is when you post a picture. So like when you're posting on your Instagram app and you have the option to post that same picture with the caption on Facebook, like other platforms, you could post it on Twitter, Facebook, I believe Flickr and things like that as well. And so, you just link all your accounts together, right? So now, ever since Facebook acquired Instagram, when you post to Twitter, it's a link that's posted as a tweet on Twitter to your Instagram, and you have to click the link and be instead of it just transferred over itself to the app. You have to open up the Instagram app, correct, or it opens up also like in a web browser page. So it's really annoying and cumbersome, and it's like that extra step that nobody likes to do.
Showing as your media feed,
correct? Because before, when you would post from Instagram to Twitter a graphic, like a picture or whatever, it would just pop up in your feed, like the way that when you post pictures now, it just posts on Twitter, it just would pop up. So like little changes happen when companies buy out, and it's not like you can't post to Twitter anymore. It's just that Facebook knew that adding that extra step and making it a little bit inconvenient would annoy users, and now you would post either just to Instagram and less to Twitter as far as pictures are concerned, or you would have to post on both if you wanted your followers on each feed to see the same picture. Right. And so, I mean, marketing wise and development wise, it makes a lot of sense to me, because now, honestly, when people post Instagram pictures to Twitter, I don't even click the link because I don't have time for that. Like,
no, very, very, very true.
It's annoying to me. I'm just not going to see that picture.
If I wanted to see your Instagram picture, I would have went to Instagram.
Exactly. So now, following you on Instagram. Like Facebook and Facebook wins, because now if you don't have Instagram, you have to download Instagram, or you're just going to use Twitter less to see graphics. And then, of course, you're going to click more on Instagram. So that's that with that piece. So Twitter, like I said, circling back, is a lot of companies right now are discussing buying out Twitter, and which of course would be a really big step for any of these major companies if they were to buy it, because Twitter, again, like I said, the reach and the amount of people and companies that use Twitter, they would have a hold on how we use Twitter. And so Google, of course, is one company that is interested in buying Twitter. They have always kind of been interested in buying Twitter and things like that, and making social networking part of, like, I know that they have Google Play, but I don't think that, or not Google Play, but Google Circles is as big as they would have wanted. And so, you know, acquiring Twitter would kind of probably that element would probably be added to Google Circles, excuse me. Another company that is interested, reportedly interested in buying Twitter. Now listen to this, because I think, I don't know, is Disney. Now, Disney, it may take you by surprise when you say, oh, Disney wants
I would never expect Disney to buy Twitter.
But the thing, because when we think companies. Disney, we think Walt Disney, we think Mickey Mouse, we think the princesses, right? We think like animation and characters and movies.
But then there's Pirates of the Caribbean, which is Disney.
Right, So we think movies and entertainment. We don't really think about the fact that Disney, the network, like Disney company, is a network of companies, and it's like a family of companies. So ESPN is part of that network. So so there's a lot of sub companies under Disney, and so it makes a lot of sense when you think of it from a business point of view, because one, like ESPN right now, just kind of to give some context and things like that, is all the sports and things like that. The
and
sport
ESPN
network
is winning. Even if you don't have cable and you have analog, they have 5 channels out of all 40.
And so ESPN is over a lot and is a big forerunner when it comes with sports news, all types of sports and things like that. So
that's all around sports news.
Yeah, and so if they were to control Twitter, they would control even more of how we're learning sports and getting our sports information. And that's just
like you
one.
Said before, Twitter is one of the main places that people in our day and millennials go to for any political news,
any type of news, entertainment news. Yeah, so that just shows. And then also like ABC and things like that are under Disney. So that's another way to promote their brand and to control how their brand is promoted and how we see. Like there's also like on Twitter, there's the different ads that sometimes pop up and sponsored tweets and things like that. So we would probably see more of those Disney family affiliates.
Yeah. The only thing I say with that problem would be, I don't want Twitter to be now turned into it being geared too much about the business and politics. And like they can still keep the discovery pages, the extra links to have that.
And so like you were saying with the discovery pages, and I don't think that, well, I would hope whoever acquires Twitter, if they do end up selling, that they won't change too much of what we love.
Need to allow people to say what they want to say. Like, okay, you can give me 200 characters. I'll take that instead of 140. But like, you know, still have it be about the people, not all about the news.
Right. No. Yeah. And I get that too. And I totally understand. And I think it'll still definitely have that entertainment side. And I think that like the social side of everything, the networking side, the social networking side, excuse me. And just to wrap up like that piece about Disney, because then with like Disney and it's like affiliates, like it's sub companies and things like that, because traditional TV is changing and people are streaming and watching TV online more. And so that's another platform and another venue for them to utilize if they were to acquire Twitter, to promote the more digital streaming and things like that. And I know that there's different, like the NBA is working on its partnership with Twitter. So, and and that's the thing, when you buy Twitter, there's a lot of partnerships that come with Twitter as well. And so like with the NBA and Twitter, they have some exclusive content that they're going to release just on Twitter once the season starts. So there's a lot. So it kind of makes sense. Yeah. It kind of, when you think about it, because when you first think Disney, like, well, I personally think of Mickey Mouse and Princess Tiana when I think Disney. So, you know, so when you think of it that way, it's like, what would Mickey Mouse really need to use with Twitter? But then when you think of Disney as a company and what they represent, all the other aspects of Disney's, not just the animation side. Yeah, why they would want to get a hold of Twitter. So Twitter right now, the stocks have gone up. This actually, I think just today they went up another like 3% as well. So
yeah, they're going up, but the reason that they're being bought is because they're going down.
Right. See,
so it's like it's kind situation, of right, because the CEO does not want to sell. The CEO does not want to sell.
Yeah, he's
Twitter.
been pretty good about keeping it
under wraps, to keeping it to himself.
Right.
So I think that's why they're trying to get the stock to go up, to have the potential of more people to buy and have more revenue. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at the whole ranks on the scale, they're teetering up and down. So that's why there's these big companies that keep going after them, trying to buy them out.
Right. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting if they do get bought out, what changes that we're going to have to deal with. And honestly, I'm just one of those people, like, I hate change as far as like when it comes to my social media platforms. So I'm like, oh, I'm so used to this. Or like updates. Like, everybody knows that I hate when they update like my iPhone and things like that. I like things to stay the same. And be familiar with me when I use my phone. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Social Media News Podcast. It was, so, I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens to Twitter. Hopefully it won't change too much. I agree. I do hope that they add some more characters, but not too many. 200 would be nice.
200 would be
nice.
Because when I add emojis, exclamation points, I want to still have like a space.
Good grammar.
Like a space is
like,
a
I know. There's like times where I'm like, I think I mentioned this before. Like, I start like speaking in like half words. Like,
just because of Twitter.
Yeah, I'm like wit instead of with. Like, you know, or like I just do a W.
With an ND.
Yeah.
Or the and sign, you know?
Yeah. So, you can find this podcast as well as any other podcasts on our network at gsmcpodcast.com, as well as on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. At GSMC_Smedia. That's SMEDIA. This was a lot of fun. I'm Pauline.
And I'm Tasia.
And we will see you guys next time with our homegirl, Ravina.
Yes.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Social Media Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.